international news, U.S. President Donald Trump signs executive order that will add a $100,000 annual fee for applicants to the H-1B visa program for skilled foreign workers.
Welcome to the program. We're live also on all our social media platforms. Let's get interactive there at TV3 Ghana. Let's begin the bulletin from here.
We're beginning with crime, as the Ghana Police Service has rescued 60 victims of human trafficking and arrested a man alleged to have murdered a wife and 2 children at Tuba Netlink Estate. Briefing journalist, Director General of the Police, CID COP Lydia Yako Donko, has revealed a major crackdown on cross-border theft involving stolen vehicles.
The Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, COP Lydia Yakudonko, engaged the media to provide further insight into 4 of the prevailing cases the CID and its allied agencies are pursuing. First of them is a murder case involving a family of 4 at the Tuba Netlink Estate near Kaswa in the Central Region. 2 of the children, however, were rescued, with 1 sustaining multiple head injuries.
Investigations established that the suspect, Samuel Amwa, also known as Biggie, had been living with the victims and was in a relationship with Alberta Hagan, and their relationship had recently deteriorated due to a dispute over financial matters. In a fit of rage, the suspect attacked Alberta and the 2 children who witnessed the incident. The suspect fled the scene and went into hiding, but after months of sustained intelligence operations, he was arrested on 17 September 2025 at Suhum in the Eastern Region. During interrogation, he admitted to committing the crime and expressed regrets over his actions.
The Director General also touched on a robbery incident at Spintex, where the robbers were said to have bolted with $5,000 and over 21,000 cedis in cash. However, luck eluded 2 of the robbers and they were nabbed by the police.
At about 3:25 a.m., 2 armed men broke into the house and robbed the complainant of gold jewelry, a laptop, wristwatches, handbags, clothing, and cash. Acting on reliable intelligence, the police arrested suspect Prince Opoku, alias Ajenkwa, together with the Nigerian national Jennifer Nweke at Adenta. A search conducted on them revealed some of the stolen items, including jewelry, mobile phones, and large sums of cash.
She further provided updates on some 10 vehicles alleged to have been stolen from the Netherlands and shipped to Ghana.
These vehicles were recovered in parts of Accra, including Kantamanto, Nima, and cantonments. A lot more vehicles have been identified, and in the coming days, we are going to be tracking and retrieving them.
According to COP Lydia Yakudonko, some 60 human traffic victims have been rescued. 19 of them, being Ghanaians, were rescued abroad, and 41 foreign nationals were rescued in Ghana.
Investigations have shown that traffickers now adopt new methods, transiting victims through multiple countries before reaching their final destinations to evade detection. The Ghana Police Service wishes to caution the public that no legitimate recruitment agency will require people to travel by road through several countries as part of an employment process. Individuals are encouraged to verify the authenticity of offers abroad before committing themselves.
According to the police, it is working tirelessly to make the country safe for all. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
And while the police is fighting crime, another is on its way. We're talking about Galamsey. That's another fight tonight. There are increased calls for a state of emergency to be declared to deal with illegal mining, even as government remains reluctant to do so. As religious and civil society groups demand urgent and decisive government action, the question remains whether or not the government's current approach will resolve the crisis or more drastic measures must be taken. There's more in this report.
The menace of illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, continues to devastate Ghana's forest cover farmlands and water bodies with dire impact on the country's socio-economic activities. Thousands of residents of the central region are currently not having access to potable water after the Ghana Water Limited shut down the Kwenyakon headworks due to heavy silt deposits caused by illegal mining activities upstream in the eastern region. Environmentalists have for years warned this could be the situation in most parts of the country where the Ghana Water Limited has treatment plants which are facing threats from illegal mining. Despite numerous calls from declaration of state of emergency in affected areas to deal with the issue, President Mahama, however, believes state agencies currently have the mandate to tackle the menace, but there's reluctance to declare a state of emergency to deal with the menace have led to intensified for a relook of that decision. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference insists that the exigencies of the time demand that government does just that. Secretary General of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, Reverend Father Clement Kwesi J, said the posture of President Mahama is one of that lacks the spirit to rally support against illegal mining.
Galamsey is now becoming something else. What he said before coming to power and what he's doing now, in fact, the bishops are not happy at all, especially when he mentioned money. You gain something from it, and it's good to gain something from it. Oh, Papa, it wasn't something that a leader should say. Then all of us will go into Galamsey, destroy the surface of the earth, then destroy ourselves, and then you all die. Life is more important than money.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Godwin Eduji Tamaklu, speaking on the key points, applauded the consistency of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference.
The Catholic Bishop Conference, within the week, raised a very important issue about the existential nature of Galamsey and the call to the President to declare a state of emergency. The NDC and the government of Ghana, led by President John Dramani Mahama, respects the views expressed by the Catholic Bishop Conference. Over the period, they have never reneged in the call for the ban on Galamsey activities.
Following a series of patrols on the Ankobra River by the Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force, the Lands Minister Emmanuel Amakufi-Boa described the menace of illegal mining as waging war on the country.
The message to everybody engaged in any illegal activity along the Ankobra and major rivers is that we are coming after you. And we are not coming on a day visit and leaving. We are going to be here. There is no law in Ghana that allows anybody to mine or discharge water in any of the water bodies. So anybody that is seen engaged in this activity is a fair target. And we are warning you, stop it. Because the damage that this is causing our country cannot be paid. If this is not war, then I don't see anything.
For Vice President of Policy Think Tank, Imani Africa, Kofi Bento, who spoke on the key points, the fight against illegal mining cannot be won as persons responsible for fixing the problem are benefiting from it.
We will not solve Galamsey because we are not serious about solving Galamsey. Look, let me quote Thomas Sowell. Okay, you can Google him. He says, "It is hard to imagine a more dangerous or stupid way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong." It is hard to imagine anything more stupid, anything more dangerous than putting in the hands of people a job that they have to do for which they don't pay any price for failing. In the case of Galamsey, it is worse. Let me tell you why. They don't pay any price for failing, and they gain a lot for failing.
Private legal practitioner Martin Bebu said the police should be allowed to fully handle the illegal mining menace.
At least around 40,000. There are millions of graduates at home. They want to enlist in the police service. And me, I keep repeating that. I pray that, look, we shouldn't use the military. We can use the police. Let the military do external aggression and war. Let the police work. Let the military concentrate on the other. Look, we need bridges, more roads to be built, etc. If the military, we have more of them in the barracks and the rest, they are not occupied. Let's deploy them in the big push agenda when it comes to the road construction.
As various stakeholders debate the issue and its impact already being felt through lack of access to potable water and the destruction of forests and farmlands, it remains to be seen whether government's actions will lead to the issues being tackled head-on. The future of Ghana's development will depend on the choices made by those in positions of authority to preserve the environment for future generations.
In the same vein, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Mines, Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe, is calling for a modern and predictable legal framework to manage Ghana's mineral resources. He stressed that the current review of the Minerals and Mining Act should be forward-looking. This comes against the backdrop of Ghana's illegal mining crisis, which has been described as both a national security and public health threat.
Medical experts and academics have repeatedly warned that toxic cocktail of mercury, cyanide, and lead used in illegal mining operations is contaminating Ghana's water bodies and soil, directly impacting the health of miners and surrounding communities. The Ghana Health Service has noted a continuous rise in birth mortality rates, stillbirths, and birth complications in regions affected by illegal mining, a reflection of the pervasive contamination.
We're seeing the devastating effect of galamsey, the environmental degradation, and the social conflict that often accompany resource extraction. Chronic health conditions such as cardiovascular diseases, children born with deformities, kidney failure, and its attendant health challenges are all linked to galamsey and the use of harmful chemicals in such operations.
Concerns have been raised that successive governments have not mastered the political will to end galamsey.
Galamsey is no longer a threat to individual livelihoods, but a national security threat. Lack of political will from successive governments to walk the talk by ensuring an end to galamsey has caused a great disservice to Ghana, as several water bodies are destroyed through the illegal mining. Colleagues, while it's easy to focus on the negative, it's our responsibility as journalists to go deeper and push duty bearers to root out illegal mining and use revenues earned from mining judiciously for the benefit of people who are the real owners of the nation's minerals.
At a training workshop organized by the Ghana Chamber of Mines in collaboration with the Ghana Journalists Association, Chamber of Mines CEO Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe emphasized the need for a modern legal and regulatory framework to address the issue.
A key pillar of ensuring Ghana's benefits optimally is a modern, competitive, and predictable legal and regulatory framework. The current Minerals and Mining Act is undergoing revision, but that revision needs to be forward-looking. We need a law that attracts both foreign and local direct investment in a highly competitive global market, while simultaneously ensuring that a fair share of value created remains in.
Now, away from illegal mining to some other subjects tonight, to the Savannah region, where weeks after the guns fell silent, the slow work of rebuilding trust has begun in Binyeri and other communities affected by recent communal clashes. My colleague Christopher Marcon, he was in the area, and reports that the efforts to rebuild communities has led to a new wave of hope for the returnees.
On Sunday, August 24, a communal conflict between two feuding factions over a plot of land resulted in the death of 31 people and the displacement of over 48,000.
This is the grave of one of the victims in the Binyeri conflict. This young man lying here happens to be the son of the Kalbaura who became a victim of the shooting incident in Binyeri.
Beniri, Kalba, Tanchure, Bale were among communities affected by the conflict. The displaced victims made up mainly of women and children from the Solatuna, Kalba, and Bole districts, fled to different parts of the country, with others crossing into neighboring Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire. After weeks of mediation and a call for ceasefire, more of the displaced victims, including men, women, children, and the aged, have begun returning home to rebuild their lives.
Last batch of people left here around 2 p.m. Yesterday afternoon. For now, we are trying to see how we can remove some of the structures.
I met the Flamiri family from Bale, who narrowly escaped death while fleeing into La Côte d'Ivoire.
So I was there to tell my senior father to also find a place to lunch before they come. So when I realized one of my friends who has gone to the nearby village at Bale. So when I say I want to check him, so on my way to check him, the people just arrived and they pointed gun on me.
Life is beginning to return to the Flamiri community and Bale community here in the Bole district. Most of the residents in this area fled to neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire and pitched camp at Vonkori.
They are now back home after President Mohamed's assurance of their safety and working to rebuild their lives.
As we see that they say the thing that president is not looking for solution to solve it, so that they should put all guns aside. So through that we are also coming, but we are not appear like that.
But that is not without fear.
We trust that the police can protect us, but our village like this, there's no light. Which police will they bring to come and stand and wait for us? And they will not stand. They are in the cities and they are leaving the village alone. So they are also patrolling in the village and they are doing their work.
According to the Savannah Regional Security Council, over 10,000 displaced victims who fled into neighboring Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire have returned to their communities. North Code, a civil society organization on peace building, says security will have to remain in the areas affected for some time to guarantee and reassure returning residents of their safety.
I think that in any effort to invest in peace and security, prevention is, in my view, the most important investment you can make. When something happens, like we observed in the Savannah region recently, people respond with relief, with mediation, with reconciliation efforts. But all those are damage repair, damage mitigation.
The devastating impact of the Beniri conflict, it's not only on lives and properties, but it will also hugely affect the developmental interventions of the Solatuna Kalba district and the Bole district. Already, the Solatuna Kalba district is one of the poorest and underdeveloped districts in Ghana.
The meager resources that we have, we ought to channel them to maintaining law and order. Development is to the people, and if the people are not at peace, you cannot bring any development. By virtue of some people hearing that there is a conflict even in our area, they are scared. They don't want to even come. This is also something which is affecting us. It will take us some time to be able to overcome, but trust me, based on what we are working, we are sure that we will recover very quickly.
Education, health, agriculture, economic activities, and even the social activities of the victims have been greatly affected. It will certainly take months, if not years, to get community life and development back in the affected areas. Stakeholders and the people are hopeful of rebuilding with peace restored.
Maybe with time, these two districts will catch up with the developmental gaps that they are facing. Until then, the lives, properties, and development of these areas will continue to remain a huge challenge for not only authorities in the two districts, but also government. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Beniri, Solatuna Kalba District.
Moving on to another worrying issue. Across Ghana, too many girls are still being forced to grow up too soon. UNICEF reports that 1 in every 5 girls is married before she turns 18. Even more heartbreaking, around 600,000 were married before their 15th birthday. The situation is worse in the north, in the northeast, savannah and northern regions. More than 1 in 10 girls between 12 and 17 are already in a union. This is more than double the national average. Now, the impact is devastating. Early marriage takes girls out of classrooms and locks them into poverty. It exposes them to health risks, with more than 500,000 adolescent pregnancies recorded, leaving them vulnerable to abuse and power imbalances in their homes and communities. We are going to be looking into this further. Noble Crosbyan and my colleague is on the magic wall to give us more. Noble, how bad is this?
Aisha, it's a very disturbing revelation. Talk that this is happening at this time and age of our lives. Absolutely. It is very disturbing. Let me walk you through what the details is. Let's begin with the number that should stop all of us in our tracks. Over 2 million child brides. That's how many children in Ghana, boys and girls, that have been pushed into marriages. But here's the part that's even harder to say. 600,000 of them, they were married before the age of 15. Now, these are children who should be learning, who should be laughing, discovering who they are, not being handed over as wives or husbands. Now, imagine this, a 13-year-old forced to drop out of school, forced to drop her bag, and then pick up the responsibilities of a home she didn't ask for. That's what this slide is telling us. 600,000 children in this country, they were married before they even reached senior high school. Their childhood taken, their dreams paused, their future compromised. And what begins after that happens, it's a lifetime of adult responsibility, health risk from early childbirth, emotional trauma, and many more. Just ask yourself this: what were you doing at 15? And now imagine that freedom was taken away from you and never given to you at all. And while this is a national crisis, some regions are carrying the heaviest burden. Let's look at where the numbers are highest. Some regions in Ghana, they're experiencing this crisis even more severely. Northeast region, for instance, the highest rate in the country. 13% of all reported child marriages come from here alone. Then there's the savannah region, accounting for 10.9%. And the northern region close behind at 10.6%. Put these 3 regions together and you're looking at over a third, 34.5% of all child marriages in Ghana. These are the places where tradition, poverty, and lack of opportunity, they collide. And when they collide, unfortunately, the girls pay the price. Let's move on and talk about some other disturbing details. Now, this is the national reality. 1 in 5. For every 5 girls you see walking together to school, every 5 girls you see walking together to go fetch water, I should tell you this: 1 won't make it all the way. She'll be pulled out of school, not because she failed, not because she didn't try, not because she does not like to go to school, but because someone decided she should become a wife. That's what this number means. It means a childhood cut short. It means forced responsibility, lost dreams, and pain that will echo for generations. I should tell you that child marriage in Ghana is more than numbers. It's stolen futures. Now, let's look at the effects we're looking. When a girl is forced into marriage, she's pushed out of school. That's number 1. Her dreams are cut short. After that, poverty feeds into the cycle as families trade survival for their daughters tomorrow. It leaves young girls facing pregnancies that their bodies are not ready for, and dangers that should never be theirs in the first place. And too often, it traps them in abuse and power imbalances, because when they are in this situation, oftentimes they cannot escape. So child marriage is not just their fight. It's our fight, because when the girls thrive, I should tell you that Ghana thrives. It's time that we do something about it. And as we try to do something about this, let's have a conversation with Esinam Ahiadome. She's a gender and sexual reproductive health rights specialist with Plan Ghana International. Aisha, you want to speak with her and, talk to her from a woman's perspective,
Absolutely.
how disturbing this is.
Good evening, ma'am, and thank you for joining us on News 360.
Good evening, and good evening to all your viewers and listeners.
We have heard about laws and policies, but beyond those, what practical steps should communities, schools, and families be taking to protect girls from early marriages?
Thank you very much. I think that the issue is devastating. Along the line, some of us thought it was going down until this one, and we just finished collecting the data around same issues in some of the regions that brought us back to where we are today to realize that the issue is unfortunately increasing. I believe that this is not going to be a one-off thing or one particular challenge or to one particular person to address. Protecting girls' rights in marriage requires a multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholder approach. Laws alone are not enough. There should be a lasting change that involves challenging social norms, that empower the girls themselves, that ensure access to education and health services. And that's, I believe, collaboration among governments, NGOs, communities, and international organizations is very, very critical in ending child marriage and ensuring that girls can live a healthy and empowered life. And by so, I feel that government must take bold steps to strengthen the enforcement of the existing laws. I think we have Children's Act that stipulates the age of marriage to be 18. And so these enforcements must be done related to this and ensure that everywhere in Ghana, including the rural and the remotest areas, the laws are effectively implemented there. Unfortunately, what we have gathered is not very different from what UNICEF have also gathered. Mostly what is happening is teenage pregnancy leading to marriages, which is very, very common. And so for Plan International Ghana, for example, we said early and forced marriage and union, because what is happening now is that teenage pregnancies that we are recording, most of them are leading to some kind of formal and informal kind of marriage or union, just to avoid stigma, just to save the family's face. They push these girls and these young children into marriages. So
Right.
in this case, not only the girls, even boys who are under 18 years who happen to find themselves in this situation of impregnating another girl are forced to get married just to save family face.
Right, and the numbers
also,
that Noble mentioned are outrageous, But what can chiefs and leaders in these communities do? This is where all of the marriages are happening. This are where the boys are impregnating the girls. What can be done about this in the communities?
Yes, I think that we need to engage them as champions of these to end some harmful practices and at the same time sustaining the customary norms that they have held on to all these years. We need them to ensure that some of the harmful practices are done with, either taken off or modified. We need the Queen Mother, the Imam, even pastors to publicly denounce child marriage and refuse to officiate some of these marriages of minors. We need them to have local bylaws and collaborate with the local government to set and enforce rules in these communities. We need them to sensitize the communities, the members themselves.
Right.
I think that there are positive social norms or practices that were held on even before then. Can we look out for those positive ones?
Definitely.
One of them that comes to mind is the communal discipline, where every adult has the right to discipline a child that is doing something wrong in the community. Can we look at that? Can we look at our local storytelling that used to be there for us, that mobilizes children around parents?
Exactly, and this is a conversation that we would have to be having all the time, because these are our future leaders and they're being forced to be adults. They're being forced to be parents to children that are just like them. So we'll continue this conversation subsequently. But thank you very much for your time this evening on News 360. Ms. Esinam Ahiadome is a gender and SRHR specialist at Plan Ghana International.
Let's do some other stories tonight. The Parliamentary Select Committee on Human Rights has pledged to intensify advocacy and push for the passage of an anti-witchcraft bill that will tackle the injustices suffered by victims. According to the committee, one of their priorities is combating discrimination against vulnerable groups. In line with that, members visited the camp to hear directly from residents, local leaders and civil society organizations.
The Parliamentary Select Committee on Human Rights, accompanied by civil society organizations, CSOs, were on a 3-day tour of some alleged witches camps at Gambaga, Kukuo, and Ngani in the northern and northeast regions. The visit by the committee aimed at strengthening advocacy and expediting the passage of the long-awaited anti-witchcraft accusation bill. The camps serve as refuge for men and women accused of witchcraft and banished from their communities. Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Human Rights, Enesiao Enim, assured the inmates of the committee's determination to tackle the injustices suffered by the victims.
Committed to ensuring that the protection of the fundamental human rights of women accused of witchcraft are protected. And that is what the committee stands for. And Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Alban Sumani Kingsford Baban is committed in ensuring that the fundamental human rights of every citizen of Ghana is protected and that no citizen is left out in this. And we are committed and will lead in the fight against all these forms of discrimination against human beings in Ghana.
He pledged that victims who are yet to be enrolled onto the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty (LEAP program would soon be registered to receive financial support.
But then how do we go about it? The reintegration takes a longer step. Now we need to ensure that the communities where these people are coming from, the stakeholders within there, we have sensitized them to understand that every human being deserves to be respected and protected. The dignity of everybody must be preserved.
Executive Director of Santaba, Hajia Lamnatu Adam, appealed to government to fast-track a relay of the anti-witchcraft bill to Parliament for reconsideration.
We worked tirelessly to have the anti-witchcraft bill pass. Unfortunately, it was not assented by the previous government. And the new parliament is being constituted. And again, we've started engaging the Human Rights Committee, all in the quest for the human rights of Parliament to appreciate issues that are confronting women, especially as aged as they are, when they are accused of witchcraft.
Between 2020 and May 2023, about 4 people, 3 females and 1 male, were lynched, while several others were banished over witchcraft accusations in the northern and savannah regions. The Criminal Amendment Bill 2022 criminalizes the declaration, accusation, naming, or labeling of another person as a witch in Ghana. On Thursday, July 27, 2023, Ghana's 8th Parliament passed the anti-witchcraft bill, but failed to get presidential assent by the then President Akufo-Addo to become law.
You're watching News 360 live here on TV3. We have some more news right after the break. Stay with us. Some more stories now. The Parliamentary Select Committee on Water and Sanitation has pledged to push for urgent solutions to the persistent water shortages in Tamale and its surrounding districts, especially during the dry season. During an oversight visit to the Dalong Water Treatment Plant, committee members said they had received numerous complaints and reports from the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly and nearby communities about chronic water shortages.
The visit aimed to inspect ongoing operations, assess the plant's capacity to meet the growing water demand, and engage with management on challenges facing the facility. Committee members toured the treatment units, interacted with engineers and staff, and reviewed measures being implemented to improve water quality and supply to surrounding communities. Chairman of the committee, John Kwabena Bless Uti, said the visit forms part of Parliament's broader effort to ensure accountability and improve essential services in the northern region.
We received complaints and reports about the Tamale water system, especially in the dry seasons. The people of Tamale Metropolitan Assembly and its surrounding districts have complained bitterly that there's water crisis. So we decided that as a committee with an oversight responsibility, it is important for us to visit the place, see things for ourselves.
He said findings of the committee will inform recommendations and policy actions aimed at guaranteeing consistent and safe water supply for residents.
What we need to do as a committee is to present the report before Parliament and also lobby the appropriate authorities to ensure that the problem is solved.
Meanwhile, the regional chief manager of the Ghana Water Company in the northern region, Stephen Amihia Mensah, has raised serious concerns over the worsening water crisis in Tamale. He attributed the situation to aging infrastructure and growing population pressure.
This plant was installed in 1972. At that time, it was producing 13,000 cubic meters of water a day. That time, the population of Tamale was less than 100,000. So in the 90s, water crisis started in Tamale.
For many years, Tamale has been facing acute water shortages. The Tamale water system, originally built in 1972, has undergone one major expansion in 2008.
In 2008, the plant was expanded from 13,000 to 45,000. That time, the population of Tamale was a little less than 400,000. Since that time, 2008, up to 2025 as we speak, the plant has seen no expansion.
And now, a former Ghana School of Law director, Kweku Ansah-Asare, says the removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Isabah-Tokunu as a Supreme Court justice seems unfair. The former Chief Justice is currently in court challenging her removal as a justice of the Supreme Court. For lawyer Ansah-Asare, government should ensure she formally retires as a justice of the Supreme Court to safeguard her entitlements.
Mount Crest University College's 8th congregation was a milestone event that brought together students, faculty and distinguished guests. A total of 37 students graduated from the Faculty of Law and School of Public Health and Hygiene.
If the former Lady Chief Justice was invited to testify in connection with the removal as Chief Justice of the Republic, and then the decision that is taken intertwines with her status as a justice of the Supreme Court, I don't think we've been fair, to her. My suggestion is the government must sever, the two relationships, remove her as Chief Justice, but retire her as a justice of the Supreme Court, in order that, she will be entitled to claim, her hard-earned entitlements.
The ceremony featured thought-provoking remarks that sparked discussions on judicial reforms.
The Ghana School of Law was the first to be established in sub-Saharan Africa, and that has remained Ghana's pride since it was established on 20th November 1958. To call for its scrapping or abolition as part of the legal reforms would be unfortunate, and I don't think that it is a step in the right direction. If we don't know what to do with the institution, my suggestion is that it should be transformed or upgraded into a postgraduate training school.
Awards were also presented to deserving graduates. In more news this evening, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has called on Ghanaians to embrace walking as a simple yet powerful tool for healthy living, unity and national progress. Speaking to the media after a health walk at Medina, he emphasized that walking is not just an activity, but a way of life that strengthens both body and spirit.
Together with Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier-Susu, the Sports Minister, Kofi Adams, the Chief of Staff, led hundreds to walk the streets of Medina.
As Sports Minister today, we are seeing a lot of significant changes in the sports front. It is because the Chief of Staff understands.
The walk also forms part of introduction of the Medina Chamber of Commerce, which is expected to serve as a central hub for local businesses, providing a platform for collaboration, advocacy and sustainable growth. The launch marks a significant milestone in advancing entrepreneurship, trade and investment opportunities within the Medina constituency.
It's now time to bring you sports news right here on News 360.
Ready for school?
Sports segment is brought to you by
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, Ghana's men's 4x100 meter relay team produced a stunning performance at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, storming to victory in Heat 2 with a new national record of 37.79 seconds to qualify for the final. Running in Heat 2, the Ghanaian quartet of Ibrahim Fuseni, Benjamin Azamati, Joseph Paulamwa, and Abdul Rashid Saminu combined precision with explosive speed to deliver one of the nation's greatest relay runs on the global stage. Their time eclipsed the previous record of 38.07 seconds set at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene. Now, Ghana's 37.79 seconds led all qualifiers, followed closely by Canada with 37.85 seconds as they won Heat 1. The Netherlands and the United States, Japan, Germany, Australia, and France completed the list of finalists. The final will take place on Sunday. Let's go into football, where Bibiani Gold Star started the CAF Champions League campaign on a negative note, losing 2-0 to Algeria's JS Kabylie in the first leg of their preliminary round at the Accra Sports Stadium earlier on Saturday. My colleague Akosi Eje was there and filed this report.
Wasn't the dream debut for defending GPL champions Bibiani Gold Stars as they played their maiden CAF Champions League match at the Accra Sports Stadium, a venue they have adapted for their CAF Champions League campaign. A goal in each half means that the task ahead of Bibiani Gold Stars is even tougher. Coach Frimpong Manson admits that lessons have been learned from this game, and hopefully in the second game they would come good.
Now we've lost the first game, yes, and this is the first league, and then next week we also go to the second league. Yes, it's a tall order, but then we've seen if we're able to correct most of the mistakes that we did, I think we'll do well. And it was a difficult game, and we made too many mistakes in the first half. And to be frank, playing against such a team, if you start to lose passes in the midfield, you always found yourself wanting.
For Gold Stars, The task may be tougher for them when they travel to Algeria to play in the return leg. But that match will have all the answers the fans, the players, and the coaches will have to ask. From the Accra Sports Stadium, I am Akosia AJ for 3 Sports.
Let's move into Europe, where Liverpool made it 5 wins from 5 as their flawless start to their defence of the Premier League crown continued with victory in the Merseyside derby against Everton and Anfield. And Manchester United recorded their second league victory of the campaign as they laboured to a 2-1 win over Chelsea.
Gravenberch! 10 minutes on the dot. Gravenberch. Ekitike! 2. One up for Illiman and Jai, and Idrissa Gueye! And Everton are back in the derby.
Moving on to our final story, James Kumbeni, a 29-year-old for the Upper East region, turned a passion for cycling into a mission for climate action and education, a journey that now drives him from Ghana's towns to an ambitious ride all the way to Morocco. Now, 3 Sports tells the story.
For me, I know very well that everything that we do normally relies on the environment. So it's one thing that motivated me to do something out of my own field of study, which is computer science, into environmental advocacy.
James Kumbeni has spent most of his life in the Upper East region, pursuing his education to the master's level in computer science. But in 2021, he developed an affinity for cycling, initially using his bicycle as a fitness tool during the weekends. As the days went by, the 29-year-old decided to channel his passion into advocacy for climate change, riding his bicycle through different towns across the country. From Kumasi to Accra, from Bibiani to Tamale, his bicycle has made trips across the mall. The journey has not been easy though. The man from Barry deals with a multitude of problems on the road.
When you're on the road, a lot of things happen. There are times you are cycling, the bicycle breaks down, and you can't stop there because you're in the middle of nowhere. So you have to struggle to fix it so that you can manage to the next town. The road that we are having in Ghana, the roads we have in Ghana, they are not so friendly to cyclists. Yes, you see, many roads in Ghana, we don't have cycling lanes where you are very safe when you are moving.
Kumbeni now aims to raise funds for exercise books for 8 students in Tigenga Primary in the Chiriponi district, among other basic schools in the region. He also plans to ride all the way to Morocco in what will be his biggest challenge yet.
I'm looking at where I'll have many more people so I could catch attention to spread my message. And Morocco is a country that this particular year, the whole world will gather. Africa will gather at Morocco. So it's a nice place to carry the message of climate change to them so that we can spread it. You know that they'll be playing AFCON in Morocco, where the whole world will gather. So it's a nice spot to carry out the climate change message to them because they'll be gathering there.
For Kumbeni, every mile is more than just a physical feat. It is a call to action, a reminder that the fight against climate change and the struggle for better education in rural communities require endurance, sacrifice, and vision. And as his pedals turn towards Morocco, his story continues to prove that one man, one bicycle, and one mission can spark a movement far greater than the ride itself. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishan. Entertainment is up next.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news this evening, celebrated Ghanaian high-life musician Dada Kweku Gia, popularly known as Dada KD, has been laid to rest. A solemn ceremony held at the forecourt of the State House to bid him farewell brought together family, friends, fans, and fellow musicians to bid him farewell. The event was marked by moving tributes that highlighted his immense contribution to Ghana's music industry. Colleagues in the creative arts space described him as a passionate performer whose unique voice and timeless songs touched many lives and cemented his place as one of the finest high-life singers of his generation. Dada KD was admired for his soulful delivery and dedication to preserving authentic Ghanaian highlife music. May his soul rest in peace. Moving on, the head of events at 3 Group, AJ Sapon, has revealed that the 2025 Afro Connect will feature exciting games and unique experiences designed to thrill both children and adults. She encouraged parents to attend the event with their children to fully immerse themselves in the activities while also celebrating the rich and diverse cultures represented by different African countries.
Are you ready?
It's 3FM Afro Connect.
If you're a family, we're bringing you the ultimate kids arena, games arena. We have the music, we have the vibes, the dance, the culture, the showcase. And so as a family, you would have the most amazing time.
The annual festival, designed to celebrate the rich diversity of African culture, has grown into one of the key cultural gatherings in Ghana, offering a platform for unity and creative expressions, while also entertaining audiences with unforgettable performances. The head of events at 3 Group, AJ Sapon, told 3 Entertainment that the event is designed to go beyond entertainment by creating a wholesome atmosphere where families can bond while exploring the richness of African culture. She encouraged parents to attend the festival with their children so they can fully immerse themselves in the activities on offer.
So this year, we're even going bigger with the game. So we have all kinds of setup, from the bouncy castle to the PlayStations, to the Xbox, to the virtual reality glasses, to table tennis, to all kinds of different ones, plus the traditional games, Oware, Ludo, Draft, Jenga, all of these things that will be on ground. So you are playing a little. We have an art corner by Art District where you can paint, you can do tie and dye, your own tie and dye shirt, you can create all these elements on the ground.
AJ Sapon is positive the blend of family-friendly entertainment and cultural showcases will make Afro Connect 2025 an unforgettable experience.
On the day, we have some exclusive items from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah that will be showcased inside the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. So you need to be a part of it to see it and experience it. And most importantly, because it's a one-stop shop for you to have the most amazing time and celebrate Nkrumah Day.
Are you ready?
It's 3FM Afro Connect, a grand celebration of African unity.
You certainly do not want to miss that. Let's bring you some international news now.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order that will add $100,000 annual fee for applicants to the H-1B visa program for skilled foreign workers. Trump's order mentions abuse of the program and will restrict entry unless payment is made. The order is due to come into force on September 21. It would only apply to new requests, but U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said companies would have to pay the same amount for each applicant for 6 years. Critics have long argued that H-1Bs undercut the American workforce, while supporters, including billionaire Elon Musk, argue it allows the U.S. to attract top talent.
That's how we draw the curtains on tonight's edition of News 360. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Aisha Yakubu Halid. Enjoy the rest of our programs and have a good evening.